Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka... And we are back with another Twitter thread. Last week, we talked about some of the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That were harder to play than any other, and why, as a result, they saw a historically low play rate relative to their power level. Today, I want to talk about the opposite. What decks have a floor so high that even your average streamer can do well with them? And we're going to begin with one that I think is pretty incontrovertible at this point, Sword Soul. The 10-Yi combos are a little more cerebral, but the difference between a good Sword Soul player and a bad Sword Soul player is more likely to be how many Moyes they have stuffed up their sleeves than how many times they practiced the setup. Let's see what you all came up with. But first, this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit that cuts the worst parts out of cooking, making it simple and easy. For those of you who have been watching the streams, you know that I've become a bit of a breakfast truther. And in my estimation, there's only one thing better than breakfast: free breakfast. And HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery for the duration of your subscription. If you're a picky eater or on a diet, you're still in luck. Dig into HelloFresh's biggest meal yet with 50 dinner options, including calorie smart, family friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian, and any of your dietary needs, which will all be covered. Each box is fully customizable to fit your preferences and includes pre-portioned ingredients, so you only pay for what you need. And for the feeling particularly seasonal, HelloFresh offers seasonal menus, which highlight peak ingredients and flavors of each season, pumpkin spice included. They work around your busy lifestyle too. Everything can be tailored to your schedule by adjusting your delivery date and skipping weeks when you're not able to cook at home. My wife and I love the fun of cooking, but frequently we'll buy a lot of ingredients at the store that just end up being decoration for the inside of our refrigerator before it eventually molds. As a result, HelloFresh has been a godsend. We always have the right amount of ingredients without having to think about it, so we can focus on cooking recipes right out of the box. Click the link in the description or use my code to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. If you're in the US, outside the US, the local discount will apply. I always wanted to do that. Okay, back to the video. Okay, here's the obvious answer. Yeah, the deck and the ceiling on the deck. While Tenpai is the new golden child for blind second decks that go me, go second me, unga boonga, I will say an issue I have with Konami's going second solution design is they just print the same thing over and over again. Board wipe, plus you can interact, plus damage, ja. Tenpai, not a particularly hard deck to play, as evidenced by the fact that I did well with it. I played it on stream. I hadn't read any of these cards. It was fine. I don't think there's any other deck where you can go, oh, the board is clear, battle phase, I'll activate one card and it wins you the game on the spot. Hard Leg has a great one. I thought Crusadia was a pretty good entry point for the game because it ticks a lot of boxes. Is easy to play. The cards are different than each other, but functionally all perform the same, role in the strategy. And the end result is a guy who just hits really hard, which seems to allure to new players and children. This was the Tenpai of like 2018. House of Champ says, okay, idiot, there are two things to watch out for: Mirror Force and Torrential. Don't run into them unless you can afford to. This guy won a YCS. Sorry. An SJC. Alistair the Invoker I like because he has so little going for him. It's not a flexible combo, it just does the same thing. But the funniest part about this combo relative to other combos that just set up one negate is how few steps you have to take. You just go normal, Link, Fusion. Scareclaw is kind of like the new Crusadia. All the cards do the same thing. Connect the dots to your strategy. And if you can out this guy, well, I guess you win. Neck was a blast. You could play Shadows and navigate your way through a million Fusion and Synchro lines. You could play BA and win through 5-head planning 3 turns in advance. Or you could play Cleafort, slap this motherfucker on the table and say, good luck, have fun. Hey, whoa, this was a hard deck to play. Sometimes you couldn't get to this guy and you just flip skill drain. Shay says, I mean, it's just the obvious answer, right? Yeah, well, we watched Far From Miss Lethal and King of Jank, so who knows, honestly. Ryan, no, come on, Ryan. What the hell did Spright ever do to you? Spright's, Burmy says, the worst part about this deck is it turned both you and your opponent into morons. It was so funny that during the Kashtira close to tier 0 format, the way to effectively navigate the match was just to blind second, because then you could play more stupid cards for idiots like Raigeki and Lightning Storm. 100% correct, yes. A blind monkey could play this deck on 1 hour of sleep and a killer hangover. Incredibly linear combo, shifter deck, can run Secret Village going first, can run every broken blind second tool going second, actual toddler baby deck for DM boomers. I will say Konami knocked it out of the park on this one. They were like, we're going to make Exodia a fun deck that plays by 2024 standards. What are we going to do? We're going to make you play all the old cards you remember from your childhood. We're going to make a spell that just says do the entire combo. And then we are going to enable you to play every dog shit ass board wipe in the game, Shifter, and then also like Secret Village locks. Before Invoked, there were Bujins, the turn your brain off deck. It took a lot out of me in 2013 to go normal summon Yamato, activate Kaiser Coliseum pass. Oh, Yamato. You know, the crazy part is that this deck was never like good, but it was always around. These fucking birds. Holy shit, I love activating Shifter and draw Prospin main and normaling Rabina. I love the skill check it takes. Hey, if Floowandereeze is easy to play, then why does my opponent keep summoning monsters in attack position? Answer that, liberal. These fucking birds that I hate.
That fucking bird that I hate.
I am from the future. We don't think anymore. We just special fours. Did you see the most recent Road to the King update? This is like approaching tier 0 territory. Can you believe that? I'd argue the skill required to pilot VV is pretty low. I stand by the fact that this is a deck that tests exactly one thing, sequencing. And what I've learned from playing against maybe 200 people on this deck is that most Yu-Gi-Oh players are so bad at sequencing. There's like 2 people that I play with regularity who stick with this deck, and every time I play against them, I'm like, shit, man, that's crazy. And then everyone else, I'm like, this deck is terrible. I still can't believe these cards are real and have 0 downsides and can OTK off one card and have insane grind game. You know what's crazy? How are these cards not in everything? I think about that a lot. Occasionally, Horus will show up in a strategy, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you could theoretically just throw 3 Msetis, 3 Sarcophagi, and 2 extra guys into any deck, and occasionally just win the game. I can't find the picture for the Drytron flowchart. Double-digit amount of times I've seen a Drytron player scoop it up right when the game deviates from the chart, but I did find this one, so here's my contender. A classic. It was fun because, like, Eldritch was a deck that you could play with a lot of better strategies, but the Eldritch part of the deck was just like, shit, did I Sanguine this turn? No. All right, we're going Sanguine. Thank God this never saw mainstream competitive success. I never thought I would root against Umi, but this was enough for me to do it. Cool, it's goes and match. It's Teekboo. A discussion point that won't make it into the video because it's not algorithm friendly. The discussion about easy decks is weird because you need to fully understand a deck to rate it. Well, no, that's actually pretty easy to put into the video here. I'll do it right now. Yu-Gi-Oh players don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't mean that in the sense of like there is some larger, like higher brain function they're not accessing with respect to like deck building and editing and in-game play and bluffing. I mean, a significant amount of them literally do not play the card game. They do not open up Dueling Book. They do not open up Omega. They do not open up Master Duel. They do not go to locals. They just sit in their house and complain about shit they do not know about. And so when you say stuff like, actually the format right now is really fun, or actually Branded is a really skill testing deck, or anything like that, everyone goes, no, the memes that I've absorbed from a Farfa stream have informed me that is not true. You're 100% correct in that for the longest time people thought Branded was just Bray Few and Prey until Pack told people it's not. I've been losing for months against Branded players who never resolve Branded Fusion because, get this, the deck's competent. Many of you are probably looking at this list and thinking to yourself, how can I play decks that are more widely respected than the ones on here? Let me give you a little tip. For a lot of you, myself included, you would be much better served by looking at these not as a list of decks to avoid, but maybe as your next top strategy. See you next week. One deck? We have a whole format for you, CJ. They don't want to hear it, CJ. No, it tests different skills, CJ. Let's see what the comments on this one are like.